Welcome to the real, excuse me, that's a different situation. I thank you for tuning in to this particular show. I am your host, CP. And today's topic, this KKK Anglo teacher, by her ingrained actions of her, had the extremely audaciousness to hung a black baby doll in her classroom that she's supposed to be a middle school teacher in front of these many different kids. But at the same time, right, no anti-black Americanism happening, right? No such thing as racial racism happening toward black Americans overall. And I'm not talking about no the gullibles and naivos. We're not talking about them. When did it stop? When did it stop? See, again, these type of Kanakasis of DNA ingrained Pakanakasa cells that are ingrained with the DNA and it's also of clan membership mentalities. You say, well, what are we talking about? Women in KKK. Don't be foolish. It's one thing we don't know something because nobody knows everything. But when it seems like somebody's saying something that is out of nonsensical part, it's just better to be quiet and listen. There was also an auxiliariness of the Ku Klux Klan for numbers of women within the Paname's culture. What, you think they're going to allow black American women in there? When how many numbers of women within the Paname's culture hated the guts of black American women, which is another whole different topic in itself, which is then why would freaking the nonsensical behavior of numbers of certain type of black women, Sister of Chaos members, especially call themselves black feminists. Do you know the most silly of how that sounds? To call numbers of black women themselves, the ones applies to Sister of Chaos members, more accurate, the ones this applies to call themselves black feminists, meaning that you have to sit there and copy Anglo feminism. You see the most nonsensical part of that. And these type of clan member mentality type of women within certain parts of Panama's culture, and there's some ones that want to be Anglo adjacent or Anglo adjacent. They are infiltrated in various other schools. See, you got people that don't bat a half an eye to say, wait a minute, this gigantically outrageousness of women teachers to male teachers, especially the minute amount of collective black male teachers overall, and its quietness overall. You don't hear the conversation about, oh my goodness, this is the good old women's network. Nope. You see how this game they keep trying to play with an Anglo feminist. And those women who wish they want to be Anglo feminists. They play these taxes every day. They can't stand the guts of black American youth in these many different schools, the ones applies to. Right? And so the system makes sure to put a certain type, or they want to put certain types of women within certain parts of Panama's culture and some Anglo adjacent and etc. on certain type of schools, right? And how many sit there and teach, especially these younger girls, right? This pre-feminism nonsensical behavior, anti-maleness. You understand? This is what they keep trying to program these young girls in. And then their nerves, some of these Anglo type women once applies to, and the Anglo adjacent ones once applies to. They have the audacity. See, they already hate the guts of black American males overall in general. They do. Because they know they just can't just do the same thing collectively as they do to certain numbers of males within the Panama-based culture, who they can't even stand anyway. They just use them economically, socially, politically, etc. Right? Do you understand? So they don't like any type of strong Black American male, especially ones who understand the power of history. And you can't just lie and, well, the past is the past, while at the same time they keep trying to tell you reproductive rights, toxic masculinity, women's suffrage. I'm like, oh, they're like, when you confront their nonsense, right? They're like, see how that goes. But let's sit there and hear from the greatness of the Dr. Amos Wilson, the Black American psychologist.
We must recognize then, ladies and gentlemen, that history is more than merely remembering one's past. That history is a very practical thing. Those of you in psychology, no doubt, have studied the abnormality referred to as amnesia. And if you haven't, look it up and see the effects amnesia has on various patients. You think often that not knowing your history in no way harms you, but certainly does. As a matter of fact, you are more a victim of history by not knowing it than in knowing it.
Mm, mm, mm. Power and that knowledge that he just gave, the great Dr. Amos Wilson, on this situation. When you pretend the past is not important, or you play the Hakanakas game, say, oh, well, that was way in the past, you get laughed at by numbers supremacists. Well, supremacists don't even deal with numbers of Black folks, Black Americans anyway. They allow other people to deal with them overall, right? Now, they may make other type, I don't know, it's a whole different topic. The point is that the system is a brilliant system. And it utilizes also numbers of women within feminism movements within certain sections of the predominant culture. And they laugh at numbers of Black women, or specifically more overall, and specifically more or less the Sister of Chaos members, because they sitting there like, you hate your own Black American men when they go traveling, doing anything, trying to enjoy themselves. You're sitting there running behind them, call them out their names because they won't go talk to you in a country way away from the States. But at the same time, you don't want to deal with them in the States overall. The most silliest conversation on that part from these Sister of Chaos members. Do you understand that? But see, this is a hatred that Black American males got to deal with on a daily basis, regardless of various parts of America. So when this foolish Kachaka dinosaur turd meister clan member mentality type of woman within the Panamese culture, this kind, right? When she comes up with she does, right? It's a natural thing. And especially what she did when the numbers of the children try to call out on that. The thing what she did or said to numbers of those kids like that. But at the same time, they are the masters of a victimlesshood. They are the true masters. They're the true masters of DEI. Do you understand? They're the true masters of wokeness, besides certain males within the Palm-based culture once applies to. They're the true receivers of affirmative action. Do you understand? But they reverse it around and play games toward Black Americans, right? They sit there and try to showcase as if Black American males are some monstrosity of Black male crime, Black male crime, Black on Black crime, Black on crime, where the number of people commit the most crimes are numbers of males within certain sections of the Panamese culture. The numbers of the ones who, the type of women who play the most victim of a situation of sitting there of disillusion mentality, right? This combobulation mentalities is certain numbers of women within the Palm culture. They'll sit there and turn on you with the extreme quickness. Do you understand? You have a better chance to move away from a cobra's strike than to sit there and get away from the viperness mentality and the strikes by numbers of certain feminist type women within the Panamese culture and ones that want to be like them. Do you understand? Because they'll do this in a heartbeat. What? They'll do what? Oh, they're the masters of those super chameleon tears. Do you understand? right? Like this one right here. Oh, she's she's a super master of the chameleon tears, right? Because people will fall for that fake smile of hers, which makes me go ahead and share my screen on this one. Which one I want to play first on this? This is a real quick one because there's a dynamic in one of the other ones. Okay, let me play this one. We're going to get this out. This one right here. I'm utilizing this on the fair usage doctrine. And today is May the 19th, 2026. Now, keep in mind, right? People, Black Americans tell every day, get over the past. They don't tell nobody else that nonsense, right? They better not tell, hey, what we call wink, wink, Native Americans, whatever that's supposed to mean. It's a different topic. Hey, start talking about the white man took y'all land. The white man took y'all land. You'd be like, show me one wink, wink Native American that is alive from the Trail of Tears days, which is almost 200 years ago. Quietness. And how do you sit there and explain, say somebody's name is Native American name, wink, wink, his name, I'm talking about what applies to, say the name is Suzette Johnson. How's that a Native American name? So that guy name is Ramon Monosky. How's that a Native American name? What if his name is Bernard Thompson? How's that a Native American name? How's that a Native American name? What if the guy name is Tony Ramones? How is that a Native American name? So you see this game they keep playing on certain numbers of Native Black Americans, right? See the game they keep playing. When the people who know how many numbers of them play, the ones it applies to, the fake ones, but at the same time you say Black natives, oh, that's pretendians. Ain't that interesting? But no one gives the lava flow for the fake, true, also ones the ones it applies to that try to pretend to be Native Americans. But at the same time, how many of them get reparations? How many of the ones that are Anglo natives, the ones it applies to? They put their name, their descendants, right? Because before they were born or wherever it is, and they put their names on the certain rolls and became Native Americans. How about them? See the game of that. So, but at the same time, again, Black Americans are told every day, forget about the past. Why nobody else forget about the past? Told there's a such thing racial racism, anti-American blackism. Why you see stuff like this happening? Do you see the game they keep playing?
This teacher done lost her damn mind.
Oh, let me turn that volume down. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this Kanaka Creation. Go back here. Let me hold on. See that little fake smile? Oh, see that? Oh, see how many times people have been chameleon lured by that fake smile, right? Pretending to be a certain person and stuff like that, and knowing they're not. Oh, they are ingrained in various sectors of society. Oh, they are. On that. So let me play this one last time on this.
She done lost her damn mind. This teacher done lost her damn mind.
Look at that. I mean, to sit there and have a black baby like that in a lynched position. No other males in America have been lynched the most in America besides Black American males. Let me repeat that beyond logicalness for people who may not know, because there might be some other different cultures, backgrounds, who have heard this nonsensical boogeyman strawness about Black American males, and many have no true clue about Black American history, let alone real American history in general. But Black Americans are not the ones, Black American males specifically, are not the number one males who commit the most crimes. It is numbers of males within certain sections of the predominant culture. Oh, they don't want to talk about that part. Do you understand? The number one criminality under white criminality, right? White collar crimes is numbers of males within certain sections of the predominant culture. They don't talk about that. And even anyway, I'm going to all that to go somewhere else with that. The point is that there is an audacious showcasing and mantra agenda to sit there and try to act like Black American males are the worst of the worst. You see the game. They don't talk about the ones that created inventions, ones that have that many patents. They don't talk about the numbers of men, Black men that are engineers, men that are medical doctors. I'm not talking about just anyone. Because just because you're a medical doctor don't mean you're the smartest. You just had to made it through. What about the ones that graduated last of the class? So we ain't gonna play that tactic. But again, I'm just saying they don't talk about the men out there who are doing their stuff, real estate, brokers, stockbrokers, right? You understand what about the numbers of, I know it's too small. What about the numbers of constructiveness of black male teachers out there? Do you understand? But they don't want to talk about those kind. What about black men that are architects? Now, we need beyond more black American lawyers, not just any lawyers, because this is why some things continue to keep happening. Because they say, oh, yeah, we don't have a strong lawyer class overall. But that's a different topic. See this kind of stuff right here? Oh, no. See, you can have a red baby. You think that's going to happen? They say, oh, no. You think they're going to have a yellow baby doing this? Nope. You think they're going to have a Jewish baby? Nope. You think they're going to sit there and have an immigration looking baby? Nope. You think they're going to have some generic Hispanic baby, whatever, and they're going to have a little cap on top of his head with ice on there? They be like, oh, no, that ain't going to happen at all. So that goes. They ain't going to have a baby with on top of head saying cook, right? Clean. They be like, oh, no. That's misogynistic. Do you see how I'm coming from? But something in there mixed up mechanisms of warped mentalities. They just sit there and insult black Americans as a collective and say Negroes ain't gonna sit there and say nothing overall. Collectively, they get mad at certain things as reactionary because they're very reactionary people, especially modern day. Well, we know how to twist their mentalities left and right. Instead of black Americans say, hold the heck up now, about enough. They had about enough of that overall, but it's not enough, and they know it overall. So the thing about it is, there was one other quick video I wanted to show on that. Excuse me. They also put some perspective. I think it's right here. Where this particular person, however, had a similar video, but it's the dynamics that I'm relaying to on this. Could be a black American, could be a black adjacent one. I'm giving you an example. I'm talking about ones that some of them that are naive or gullible ones, which applies to. So, however, this situation person said, wow, I can't believe this happened right here in our school system in Hillsborough County. When people say racism, you mean anti-black American racism. You got to be watchful and correct on the importance of words. Does it still exist? We are reminded daily that they do. This teacher, again, words truly matter. This particular Anglo woman teacher, this one, should be immediately fired. Today at Barrington Middle School, Hillsborough County Public School System, Florida, this art teacher, this particular Anglo woman art teacher, Mrs. Karen, that's a married name, by the way, questions her husband mentality. Mrs. Karen Savage took the time to wrap a charger cord around a black baby doll's neck and hang it directly over the classroom television for the entire room to see. Look at the photo, look at the video. When the children call out this blatant, disgusting act of hate, you mean anti-black American hate. Words are extremely important. And ask why she hung that doll up, you mean, again, words are very important, a black doll. By its neck, she laughed it off. Her excuse to our kids was that she did it to get their attention. This is not a classroom management tool. This is straight up hate, anti-black American hate, and trauma being weaponized in front of our children in a place where they are supposed to be safe. Share this everywhere. Our community, whose community? You got to watch these little nonsensical generic words. See, this is what the kind of question either is the person black American, but a naive one, because there's ones out there, or this is a black adjacent one. You know, I mean, it's good that he was frustrated, but the naiveness of certain numbers of black adjacent ones, but most of them don't care anyway, right? Because they don't care about black Americans, but they want to jump within this in generalization of people think what they think Black Americans is. So they'll tether our Black Americans, but they couldn't fix their own places that they fled from. The one applies to, because again, I'm talking about some of the good brothers and sisters that came from higher places. Those are small, because the system will allow only a small section of decent brothers and sisters from some of these places. Don't get it confused. So it's our community, mean Black American community, needs to see exactly, well, and some other people, other cultures that may not understand. And many of them don't. They be like, because we only thought Black Americans be doing this and doing that. Well, of course, and but that is a personal responsibility. You think Black Americans can go to some of your same countries and look around and say, oh my goodness, look at this terrible poverty. What's wrong with these people? You got governments that's controlled by people that look like that person. What's wrong with these people? Why are you letting all these foreign intervention go into this country, that country? Oh my goodness, won't y'all fight back? What are y'all doing? Why are you still worshiping that dictator type person over there? However they place, you get the point. Why using them? Anyway, the list goes on, right? You get the point what I'm getting at. But Black Americans ain't going these places. They're insulting people left and right. Black Americans are not some collective disrespectful people. Black Americans are overall some of the most openest people in America. But they make sure to try to portray some of the not so good ones. Do you understand the game of that? Our community, I mean Black Americans specifically, and some other cultures you may not understand, because how many have no clue about true Black American history? That's going to be quite a number of people that have come over to America. Quite a number. Especially for the ones that listen to this. You know who you are. Most of you have no clue about Black American history. Matter of fact, there's numbers of even people within certain parts of economic culture in America have no clue about true Black American history. Do you understand? Because they don't teach that kind of stuff in most of the schools. They teach a sanitized version of American history in general. And then how the nerd try to use a generic woke terminology, which means that Negroes don't wake up and see what is going on around you collectively. You understand the game they keep playing. Our community needs to teach to see exactly what our kids are dealing with, all while trying to get an education from people that we believe care about our future, our children. Call the school such and such number. But they are shocked for no reason if they understood true Black American history. It ain't about not being shocked, because the ones who know that, no, they're not shocked. But at the same time, unfortunately, there are still numbers within certain parts of Black Americanism, once applies to modern day more, that tells, well, I can't believe this is happening in 2026. There's some people that know what I'm talking about. I can't believe this is happening in 2025. I can't believe this happened in 2015. I can't believe this happened in 2009. I can't believe this happened in 2005. I can't believe, you get the point, right? You'd be like, when did it stop? But at the same time, again, you got these type of clan-like mentality type of women within predominant culture. Once it applies to, again, they are put within certain sections of an educational system. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes unknowingly. Because they are the progenitors of super lying. Once applies to within certain women within predominant culture. Because there are a few numbers of ones that do try to call out numbers that are on women within the predominant culture. But you know how super rare that is overall? Because there is a system set up where certain numbers or quite a number of women within predominant culture and Anglo adjacent and ones that want to be like them, they're not going to sit there and be like, yeah, we want true equality. No. Do you understand? Just like how many times have I seen, I lost count, of numbers of women within certain parts of predominant culture who I've seen personally sit there and insult their numbers of males within the predominant culture. I'm looking like, say, man, have a freaking backbone. I had no respect for that kind of guy in that part of predominant culture. Now, how many would get up in the faces of Black men left and right? The ones applies to, especially when it's various ones upon one Black male overall. But they won't sit there and chastise their violent numbers of women within the predominant culture, the ones that physically abuse them, mentally abuse them. You get the point, they do nothing. Do you understand how that goes? Whole different topic in itself. So the thing about it is, there are various types of women within the Panamese culture. They're put in these various education facilities. They're put in various parts of politics. They're put in various sections, various places, right, for a type of agenda. What do you mean by that? Let's just take a look at something for a second. Give me one moment. Let me sit there and show right here.
And then everyone's called a white supremacist. I'm sorry, but we're not white supremacists. Oh, I guess I'm not. Yes, I am, because the term nowadays, white supremacist, means you're a patriot.
How many are just like her? Numbers of women within certain parts of Panamese culture, numbers of Anglo adjacent ones that just like them. Oh, they're around. But they're jumping down talking about toxic masculinity. The glass ceiling. Women not paid the same as men. You see that nonsensical mythological camel turd of a game plan. They keep playing with that. But they make sure not to talk about the racial construct part of it, right? They don't talk about numbers of women within the Panamese culture get paid more than black males doing the same type, similar jobs, or same job or similar jobs. They don't talk about numbers of males within Panamese culture. Overall, doing the same similar job, they get paid more than black males. They don't talk about stuff like that. They don't talk about numbers of women overall within various parts of Panamese culture get paid more than numbers of black women doing a similar job. Do you understand the game they keep playing? These type of women within the Panamese culture, once applies to, are kakanakas, discombobulations of lostness in the mentality. You understand? And they're very disturbing because they're allowed to play communistic tears. Do you understand? And have their blatant anti-Black American mechanism of hatred, but they are truly given a VIP pass in a collective way. Just like my last statement today is, in a movie called Black Klansman, it was okay a few years ago. It was okay, but there was one a little bit better. I like better plot to me was one that was in black and white way back. But what I'm getting at, the one with the color, that this particular numbers of men within Anglonism culture, the ones applies to, that had a hatred toward Black Americans, which how many still do, the ones applies to, and they want to plot to take this life of this particular black male. Well, this particular woman within the Panamese culture, right, this one had a clan member mentality. She wanted to sit there and again hurt the black man. She wanted to get involved. And they was like, no, you just kind of do your stuff over there, right? No, don't worry about that. She's like, no, I want to help out. I want to help out. And she kept saying over and over and over, I want to help out. I want to sit there and do this, do that. You know, she wanted to do this to that black male. And finally, it's like, okay, you know, this is the plan, such and such. How many out there are just like that? They hate the guts of Black American males, and they will lie and cheat and lie, play victim left and right when it's convenient for them. But they hate the guts of Black Americans in general, and especially Black American males, the strong type. Do you understand the game they keep playing? And they have the nerve to tell someone, oh my goodness, toxic masculinity. And I'm like, you said, you're like, what? Not playing that stupid game. I thank you for tuning in to this topic show. I am your host, CP.